Hello, 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 and welcome to, you guessed it, the number 2 show. I'm your host with the most. All you poop heads, all you crapathons, all you doo-doo monkeys out there. Don't know what your name's going to be, still workshopping that. Don't worry, I'll settle on something soon. The important thing is that we're all here together on a Tuesday. We're having a good time. Life is good. I'm coming to you live from the number 2 show talk show studio in St. Louis, Missouri. I got my diaper changing koala table set up. Very nice. And as always, I'm excited to be here. I hope you're excited too. Feel free to start leaving some stuff in the chat. We'll try to monitor it as we go here. And again, the number to call in today is 818-532-1420. That's 818-532-1420. Our operator, singular, is standing by. And if you want to order, that's not all. Wait, not only do you get to talk to me, wait, that's not all. For the next 15 minutes, anyone who calls in at 818-532-1420 also gets to talk to my sidekick, my number 2 on the number 2, Scott Rizzuto, everybody.
Time starts now.
Time starts
15 minutes.
Now. This is a segment we like to call 15 Minutes with Riz. 15 and no more.
Whatever you want.
Whatever we want, but we only get 15. He's a busy man.
Do you want to mention anything about today's show? I thought started off strong, but man, I don't know. I started getting mush mouth at the end of the day. I don't know what was going on.
On the number 1 show?
On the number 1 show, yeah.
Those of you that, for the 3 of you in this that don't tune into the Rizzuto show, Scott Rizzuto is St. Louis royalty, the number 1 host of he hired me to be on his show, the Rizzuto show. It's the number 1 radio show in St. Louis. He is the man. He's the man usually. This is a very twist of fate. I've got him to be my sidekick for 15 minutes a day. And, it started to taper off at the end. People were getting a little mush-mouthy.
Yeah, I don't know. It was the weather. You know, we got that Hurricane Beryl, kind of the remnants, coming through St. Louis. I don't know. It's kind of one of those days. I don't know. I just felt like a sourness over the entire city today. I don't know what it is. It's the weather. It's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday after a long weekend. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it today, Rafe.
I think that's probably it. I think the Tuesday after a long day. Oh, we're going to save that for just a minute. Just chill out, Rafe. Calm down. I think it is the weather after a long day or after a long weekend, because we had a Bret Michaels miracle here in St. Louis. It was supposed to be rainy. Bret Michaels came to town, front man of Poison, and saved the day. And it was nice.
He really did on the 4th of July.
Yeah, he gave it up for the troops at least 800 times during one concert, because that's how he rolls. Mm-hmm. Love him for that. You've never seen an episode of Rock of Love, is that correct?
No, I've heard of the show. I've never seen an episode. I know it's Bret Michaels looking for love, a la the Bachelorette.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a little stinkier than the Bachelorette. It's the way the Bachelorette screens for STDs, Rock of Love does not. In fact, I think everyone that tests positive on the Bachelorette with an STD gets put in the they get in the Rock of Love pile, which totally makes sense. Excuse me. I was looking at, we've talked about in the past, we were hanging out this weekend, and I was talking about trying to find a house. I'm a renter. You're a homeowner.
Yes.
And I put, I found a little house that I liked, and I investigated over the weekend of putting an offer in. Maybe it's time for old Captain Pork Steak.
Is that true?
On the number 2 show. This is 100% true.
You're going to put an offer in on a house?
Already did. And I didn't tell you about it because I wanted it to be an organic conversation here on the air.
Out of the city?
The city of St. Louis. I got it in Maplewood, which here in St. Louis is the ultimate compromise of selling out, moving to the suburbs, and staying in the city.
Yeah, it's dipping your toe in both areas there.
It is. It's right on the cusp of city limits, because I live in a city, and as most people live in major metropolitan areas may attest to, love living in the city. The hustle, the bustle, the get up and go. But there's parts of it I don't like street parking. My cars get dinged all the time. Catalytic converters get stolen. There's problems with city living. There just are. Yeah, and
there are inherent problems, yes. When you live in the city, you have to take that into account.
And I just can't figure out, and the thing is that I went through, and this is first time for me, and maybe you can shed some light on it. I found a little place I like, property is not cheap right now. We can all attest to that. I think we can.
Property's not cheap. Interest rates are, in the sevens?
Yeah, 7 point something. And man, that was what I wanted to talk about, dude. Just
look at us having an adult conversation. This is wild.
This is wild. Well, it threw me off, man, because I'm so off my game because I was like, okay, here's what we can afford.
Vagina. I had to say it.
Huh?
I just had to say vagina.
Okay.
Just that we were getting a little too serious there for a second.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll be able to get off that in a second. I just wanted you to know that I tried to get a house, and the goddamn interest rates are so crazy that I was like, oh, this is probably not a good idea right now. I think it made the monthly payment go up. Even with, money down, it made it go up, almost $1,000.
Yeah, it's wild.
It was wild. It was truly wild. And I couldn't think of a good, if you had to give someone advice right now, whether they should or shouldn't buy a home, what's Rizzuto Real Estate going to say?
Rizzuto Real Estate, who's just trying to move homes, will say, yes, of course you should buy a house now. But if you're talking about Scott Rizzuto, who tries to be smart with his money,
yeah,
I would say if you find a home you absolutely must have, this is your dream home right now, I'm afraid this is not going to be available next year. I say get the home now at whatever rate it's, 7 point whatever, and then you can just refinance when rates come down.
Okay. That's one way to go.
Because if you're going to listen, your dream home is your dream home.
Yeah.
This is the house I want to move into. This is the house that is not going to be there for me down the road, so I got to get it now. So
yeah, I wouldn't say it was a dream home, but I would say that it would be a good starter home and to get us the fuck out of. Because here's the reality, okay? What was
the final straw for you?
Well, over the years we've had no one in the city's leaving a note. When you live in the city and somebody dings your car, that's just your problem. That's just the way it is. Tina, my girlfriend, has had her car hit 2 or 3 times in front of our house. One time totaled by a drunk driver, just smashed into the front end. And we had to put in, the driver got away. Police did nothing, never caught him. Because police in the city got bigger problems, man. It's the way it is. That, and that's a major case in the burbs. You call up a suburb cop and you're like, drunk driver just smashed my car in front of my house, dude. You might get the SWAT team. You might get the SWAT team in front of the Rizzuto house.
Where I live, yes.
Yeah. City, a guy came an hour later and all the cop wanted to know was where I got my TV because the Bears game was on. It was Christmas Eve. The Bears were playing. And he was like, wow, it's got a great picture on it, man. What is this, Sony? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Think you could maybe dust for prints or something? Try to make me feel better.
Oh, well, get every detective on it.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those situations where he's like, yeah, people watch too much Law and Order. They think we can just call places. I'm like, well, there was a 911 call. A guy followed this drunk driver. She fell asleep at a light. They called 911, gave 911 the plate. I asked the cop, hey, can you call 911 off dispatch and figure out the plate? Maybe you can track this drunk lady down. And he goes, yeah, people watch too much CSI and whatnot.
Yeah, we didn't get the forensics team out?
Yeah, but I'm like, I wasn't asking you to deploy a black light and get a blood spatter specialist out here. I'm like, call the dispatcher that already has this information and get it.
Yeah.
And apparently that was too much. So all he did was say, if I were you, I'd just fix that myself so your insurance doesn't go up. And
the problem is they're so spread thin. There's a lack of police officers in the city of St. Louis and a lot of other major cities.
Major cities, sure.
So, they have their priorities. And if somebody is getting murdered and somebody's getting their car broken into, they're going to go to the murder first.
Yeah. They're also not solving that, but they're going there first, which is nice. My point is, a lot of that stuff has happened, okay? We've had a few dings. That was a big one. Then we had, and then, he's telling me, I'm like, hey, man, I didn't call you. You're not Flo from Progressive. I didn't call Flo to get a quote on how much my car would cost to repair. I called a cop. But my point is, you just got to live with these things in the city.
Yes.
And at some point, I gotta say, I talk about them a lot. They're relatively harmless. I got a crackhead neighbor who stands out in front of his house and waters the road every morning. He's just out there having a good time.
With a hose, or
he's got a hose. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. But he's having his own party out there. Like, I gotta make these roads grow, baby. And I'm like, all right, dude, whatever you got to do. So there's some things that like might be nice to not have to deal with, But I feel like a sellout for moving out of the city. How did you feel when you left the city to go to the burbs?
I did have I had a final straw moment. I was tired of getting my car broken into.
Okay.
I had it. I lived in St. Louis Hills. So if you're familiar with the city, Hampton and Watson, which was supposedly a nice neighborhood. And I'd park my car out on the street, and 3 or 4 times, I come out of the house in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, ready to go to work, and you see that your trunk is open, the dome light's on, the glove compartment's open, everything's thrown about. I've had it. I can't do this anymore. Plus, I had a young kid, so my son had just been born. My wife was pregnant with my daughter, and I'm like, listen, we got to bite the bullet. We were city people.
Yeah,
my wife and I are city people.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the burbs are not a good fit for. I am very rough around the edges. I feel like I'm either fit for the wild country or the inner city, and I don't know that I'm built for the medium speed. I'm a very extreme person. My personality is extreme.
Yeah.
So I'm worried that I won't fit in the suburbs.
And my neighborhood, everything's very green, and everybody takes care of their lawns and their.
Oh yeah, you live in a beautiful
and their landscaping and stuff like that. I never thought I'd be that person, but I am really enjoying.
Okay.
The kind of quiet of it all. I mean, listen, we're in our mid-40s now. Are we slowing down a bit? I don't know. Maybe.
Never. Yeah, maybe, probably. I mean, I did go to bed at 6 o'clock last night.
But the last time that my car was broken into, I did the same thing as you. I called the cops, and they're like, you could fill out a report.
You're like, yeah, it's a bummer.
You could fill out a report. Not, hey, we'll send somebody down to fill out a report, or we'll even do it over the phone. If you want, we could do a report. So if we do a report, is it going to do anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
How long did it take you to get over feeling like a sellout?
Man, it didn't take that long. Actually.
First night you left your car unlocked and came out and it was in working order?
Well, first time I put my car in a garage. I was like, whoa.
Ooh, no snow?
Look at this. A garage. Yeah, we moved into a little house in the DePere, Missouri area. And it was nice. Nice little neighborhood. Neighbors were friendly. There was a little lake behind the house. Put the kid in a stroller and walk him down to the lake. It was nice.
Beautiful.
I was like, okay, I could be with this. I could do this. It's fine.
All right. Well,
and even now, listen, now when I go back home, when I go visit friends and family in New York City, I feel like it's almost claustrophobic. I'm like, there's so many people here.
Yeah.
I forgot how to merge into walking traffic, Rafe. I had a problem going from a building onto a street.
Yeah.
Walking. I forgot how to merge.
Well, you're getting a lot more bang for your buck space-wise here, too. I bet you're like the rich cousin. When they come to your house, they're like, this guy's loaded.
Yeah.
Because it's like you get so much more house here in the Midwest than you would in New York for the same price,
Ridiculous.
We were talking earlier, because I know you're going to be getting out of here soon. I don't know when because I can't see the timer. But new Gladiator trailer dropped today.
Yes, I have not seen it yet.
How do we feel about a sequel with none of the original actors?
No Joaquin Phoenix, no, what's the Australian guy's name? Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. No, but we got us a little Pedro Pascal.
We got Denzel.
You want to watch the trailer and comment on it? Let's put it up. Share my screen up there, Zane Dog. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
I remember that day.
Uh-oh, there's a little nod.
I forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Where were you born?
Okay.
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
Oh, he's supposed to be the son.
You will be my instrument.
Who are you?
So there is a connection.
So son of Maximus?
The greatest temple
He might be.
Rome ever built. The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
Is this a Ridley Scott joint?
I believe this is a Ridley Scott. Oh, look.
All right, yep.
That looked like a ripoff of Joaquin's character a little bit.
There are victories yet still to come.
They should get the kid who played Joffrey in Game of Thrones to be the new bad guy.
Yeah. I feel like he's trying to get away from that because he just got cast in something finally.
Oh, really?
I don't know. It looks pretty good.
I mean, it looks like it's got the same feel as the original.
You have something.
Yeah, maybe. It looks like they're going to connect it to the... I don't know who this actor is. Do you?
Paul Mescal?
Yeah, this guy. What else has he been in?
I don't know, but he's dreamy.
Ooh, Paul Mescal. Some doors are going to open for old Paul Mescal.
Is that a rhino?
I feel like Pedro Pascal's in everything.
Yeah, I think it's getting to be a bit too much. Am I
He's a
wrong?
Game of Thrones guy. I mean, yeah. I don't think he has to be in everything. He's a real lovable fella. The guy just fought a rhino, by the way. Neither one of us even commented on it.
Fury. The entire Roman armies.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll watch it.
General.
Based on this trailer, also in. November.
Oh, November. Oh,
All right.
I'll see you.
Yep, he's out of here. Well, I guess we'll finish watching this trailer together, folks. Goodbye, Riz. He's out. Oh, we got a Jay-Z joint. That's nice. Let's see what else is going on.
Belong to Maximus.
Okay. There is a connection. This is big for me.
Dream of Rome.
All right.
Not free.
We've seen enough of Gladiator 2. I know that I'm in, and you should be in too. That was an impromptu movie review by me and Riz, who's now gone. If you want to talk to me, though, call 818-532-1420. That's 818-532-1420. If you got something you want to talk about, give me a buzz, and we'll chat, just me and you, because Riz is out right now. Let's pause and take a word from our sponsor, Gladiator 2. Today's episode brought to you by Gladiator 2, Electric Boogaloo. And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Call 818-532-1420 if you'd like to chat with the old Rafe dog. Had a couple real good calls last week. I hope people call in again with some good stuff. Last week, you talked to somebody at the nudist colony and whose uncle was a Singapore pimp, which is, I mean, it don't get much better than that. But no pressure. Call in if you can. It's been a real interesting week. I got some, in the meantime, while we're taking calls, I'm going to go through some old emails and things like that, and we'll see if anything gets a good conversation going here. Let's see here. Here's an old email from someone. Hey, Rafe. I recently got my hands on the latest virtual reality headset. And let me tell you, it's mind-blowing. But it got me wondering, are we really prepared for the implications of VR technology? Ooh. From immersive gaming to virtual workplaces, the possibilities do seem endless, but what about the potential drawbacks like addiction, privacy concerns, or even the blurring of reality itself? Let's discuss potential pitfalls of living in a virtual world. Cheers, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Well, that's a good question, Brian. I think about that movie. There's an old Bruce Willis movie called Surrogate. And everybody like lived in a pod and had like a VR body that they experienced the world through. And I can see that happening. I read an article recently talking about inner space is the way we explore outer space now, inner space will be the next thing that we as a species, as humanity, explore. And it was kind of scary because, excuse me, it talked about, well, really the fact that unlike Orwell predicted, we've kind of given ourselves over to Big Brother. You read 1984 by George Orwell, it talks about the ever-watchful eye of Big Brother, the Illuminati. And that the human race would be resistant to it, but instead we're not. We carry a homing device and a camera around with us in our pocket. In fact, we pay for it. We pay $100 some odd bucks a month for an unlimited Verizon package plan so we can be fully monitored by Big Brother at all times. Now, that's not a conspiracy theory. I'm not your weird Uncle Frank, okay? That's just me telling you the truth. Got mine right here. I'm on a camera talking to you live, watching it on the thing that's keeping track of my every move. And I know it's keeping track of my every move because I just mentioned offhandedly Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs earlier today. And I got a bunch of memes of Buffalo Bill just showing up in my feed. Coincidence? Maybe, but I doubt it. Now we're getting into VR. I mean, think about how addicted we are now. There's people with porn addiction. I know porn VR is huge. I've never done it, but I know that it's out there. I'm kind of scared to try it, to be honest with you, because I'm like, man, I'm a pretty horny guy already. I get horny I could just look at an ad on a bench sometimes if it's the right real estate headshot and get a little horny over it. So I don't know if I need to be getting all up in VR porn. That's a slippery slope for anybody, Brian. But I will say, it's funny to watch people use VR. And like the only time I've ever done it, it wasn't super progressed yet. Everybody looks like really awkward trying to live in the VR space. But I can't imagine a world where we're all driving around in headsets and not interacting. We already don't look up. I mean, we've lost the ability as people to interact with each other or talk last time you tried to have a conversation with a stranger, man, it never goes well. Almost never. Because everyone's just like in their phone. Like the people they want to talk to live in here. They don't live in the outside world anymore. You're waiting on a text or an email or a FaceTime or a Marco Polo or I don't know, an OnlyFans inbox message, whatever your slice of life is. We already kind of live in that world where everyone's addicted. So I can't imagine being completely immersed where not only now am I looking down at a screen, at least when I'm looking into a phone, I have a little bit of peripheral vision. Like the real world is still, if nothing else, existing in some tangential plane that I can see with my eyeballs. Now you pop on a headset. Now I'm full blinders, just walking around in a VR world, sitting in a pod at home, covered in Cheeto dust and sadness. It's a good question, man. I don't know. It's kind of a weird little thing that has to be thought about and addressed, and I don't know if we may be past the point of no, we may be past the event horizon, like it's going to happen whether we like it or not. And I question it. I don't know what other pitfalls there would be other than, I think about how it would affect hot people. Like if we all lived in surrogates and we all live in the VR world and we can all be whoever we want to be and look however we want to look, all of the perks of being a hot person that have been around since the dawn of time go away. Because you don't see the actual person, right? You're probably meeting in a virtual world, putting on some kind of weird sex harness to have sex with that person in that world. We're going to invent all the right accoutrements that go with the VR headset. And all of a sudden, being hot's not social currency anymore. I wonder how that's going to affect smoking hot people. If you're a hot person watching this, and I can almost promise you're not, think about that while you poop, okay? Someone put in the chat that they love that I watch myself while I'm performing. It is how I monitor the chat, just so you know. I have my phone stuff open over here. This is how I monitor your chat. I'm not watching myself while I perform. I swear. God, I look good. What a hot guy. I love the way I look when I'm talking with a 14-second delay. Ooh. What I just said, I'm about to say again. I'm going to look down and check it out. Oh, my God. What a hottie. I'd do it. All right, that made Zane laugh, at least. All right, let's go to another email and see what we got here. That's too similar. Here we go. Hey, Rafe, with climate change becoming an ever more pressing issue, isn't it always? It's crucial to examine attitudes, responses to global crisis. Are we taking sufficient action to mitigate its effects? Man, these are some serious emails. There are still some skeptical about the severity of the situation. Let's delve into the debate between urgency and skepticism surrounding climate change. What can individuals, communities, and governments do to address the existential threat? Climate concerned Ned. Okay, thank you, Ned. I don't know, man. Climate change is crazy because I don't think you're changing anyone's mind on either side of the argument. You know, and it's also it is a very touchy subject. If you're still denying it, you're an idiot. I think if you're denying it, there's something wrong with you. Now, how seriously you take it, I think that's the degrees that we're getting into the gray area with. There are still few deniers out there who think that like humans don't have an effect on the environment, which is, I mean, go on a float trip and see all the used condoms floating through a river and think that, and tell me, go on an old school Missouri float trip and look at all the people banging in the river and throwing their condoms in there and tell me that's not having an effect, at least on the beavers, right? Imagine that floating into your dam. You're just minding your own business. You're just a cool beaver out on the Hoosaw, doing what beavers do, biting logs, building homes, making little beaver families, slapping your tail on the water every once in a while to let people know you're still a cool guy. You're slapping your tail on the water, and on that fifth slap, pop, 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 whoosh, what comes out? Oh, a used Magnum condom. Ooh. Now that beaver's got self-esteem issues about his own penis. Now he's got to go back to his beaver family and act like nothing's going on. You don't think you're affecting the environment that way? Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think about the effect that penis envy being caused by condoms in rivers is having on the beaver's self-esteem? Then what happens? The beaver goes home. He doesn't think he can satisfy his wife. Now, not if she's been out on the river seeing all these big dongs on tubes. Now this beaver's got ED or BD, beaver dysfunction, right? Now he's got a bad case of BD, and he can't bang his wife. Now there's no baby beavers. We're out of baby beavers. There's a baby beaver shortage. Do you want to suffer through a baby beaver shortage? Save the baby beavers. Now this guy can't bang his wife. There's no baby beavers. There's no next gen of beavers to build dams to dam rivers. He can't even go out. He can't even chew through a log. He's tired. He's depressed. He just wanders aimlessly through the woods. He looks at an ash tree and he thinks, nah, not today. Now when I know there's all these big dick guys banging on the Hoosaw, I can't chew through an ash tree and do my job. And that's a microcosm of the human impact on the ecosystem as we know it. Think about that. That's just one beaver who's worried about the size of his penis, who can't build a dam. And the ripple effect of that, hell, that could affect the entire rerouting of the Hoosaw River. Where else are you going to go and put a cooler Bud Light in an inner tube and float around and listen to stadium country music that sounds like it was made by AI and have a good time? I don't know, but I know that beaver's life is not going to be enhanced. We're going to run out of baby beavers, so that's on you. If you don't think climate change is real, that's what I would say to the skeptics. Think about the beaver. Just a regular average penis-sized beaver. And then donate. Donate to Greenpeace, Because Greenpeace is committed to making beavers feel completely secure about the size of their penises. You can look that up on their website. Go to greenpeace.com right now. Type in beaver penis. You will see there are comprehensive scientific articles written about male beavers' security level of the sizes of their little beaver penises. So if you don't want to donate to an organization that cares about beavers and baby beavers, what kind of a monster are you? Don't even get me started on otters. I love otters. Okay? Otters are cool. They're getting little rocks. They're batting them around. Think about that. What kind of effect you have? If you're doing that to beavers, imagine. Otters are way more sensitive. The otters are clearly the artists of the river. They don't actually do anything that we can tell. Like the beavers are the tradesmen, right? They're working. They're building a dam. What are the otters doing all day? They're like me. The otters they're out there batting around a rock. They're floating on their backs. They're playing around. Maybe they're drawing some lines in the sand. They're making cool noises. They're cute. They're cuddly. They're accepted. But the otters ain't building nothing. So if you're affecting a beaver's creativity, if you're affected with your big condoms, imagine what you're doing to a sensitive artist like the otter. Now you got two problems. And that's all from one hypothetical condom that is of an extra large size that was found in one river in America. Now multiply that globally. Yeah, we got a fucking crisis on our hands, people. We have a beaver penis otter creativity problem on our hands. So that's what I'd say to that. Thank you, Ned, for emailing in. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back. Let's take a quick break for a message from our second sponsor, Greenpeace.com. /Beaver Penis. That's Greenpeace.com /Beaver Penis. Check it out. Someone in the chat just, hey, everybody, welcome back to the number 2 show. I'm your host, Rafe Williams. I just wanted to say we were talking about, before the break, we were talking about the global impact of Magnum condoms being thrown into rivers, affecting beavers' self-esteem about the sizes of their own penises. And someone has donated $1 in the chat to Beaver Penis Awareness. And I just want to thank you. Thank you so much. Think different. It only takes one person to make a difference, guys. Yes. Yes. Let's give it to them. Let's give them the applause they deserve. Okay? Excellent. If you guys want to donate, maybe I'll set up a fund. Maybe I'll set up a GoFundMe for these beavers so they can get into therapy, realize that penis size is not that important to female beavers, and can get back to building dams and routing rivers the way we need them to. For the Earth to survive another couple million years. Let's hope. You never know. Let me look through here. Would a beaver dress up like Bret Michaels? And possibly. There could be a Bret Michaels beaver. But I don't know. You never know about something like that. Oh. All right. I'm going to go into the mailbag here and look. Do we have any callers? I'm seeing if you want to call in, 818-532-1420. That's 818-532-1420. If you don't, it's fine. The show's almost over. And honestly, if you call in right now, fuck you. I mean, I take it. You had your chance. Could have talked to me and Riz. Did you call? Fuck no, you didn't. Could have talked to me during that whole beaver tirade I was on. I don't know if that helped anybody, but I definitely went on one. Could have called then. You didn't. But I still welcome you to call 818-532-1420 if you do want to chat with me about something. If not, whatever. Who cares? All right, here's one. I got a couple of weird ones here. These are kind of like would you rathers, or like I kind of save these little emails in a mailbag for when things are getting a little bit strange. Okay? So, subject: strange superstitions. Hey, Rafe, my friend refuses to step on cracks because she believes it'll bring bad luck. Do you have any strange superstitions or know someone who does? What's the weirdest superstition you've ever heard? Thanks, Anna from Seattle. Wow. Got to watch her in Seattle. That's pretty cool. If it's raining here, I can't imagine what it's doing there. It's a good question. I grew up with several aunts who had like weird superstitions. I had one, I've heard of no hats on the bed. Not sure where that came from. There's a lot of old wives' tales from the old days, I feel like, that come through. She would get really mad if you threw her hat on a bed because she said it was like, it would bring bad luck. I went to there are still some funerals. This is a self-identified. I don't want to get canceled for this. But I had a friend whose uncle died, and I went to a gypsy funeral, which is a specific type of funeral. It's very old school. It's a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, a lot of hanging out, but they still cover all the mirrors, which is an old a thing that they used to do at funerals. They throw sheets and blankets over all of the mirrors because for the soul to escape and get to heaven, I presume. The mirrors are confusing for a new soul, and they could get sucked into some sort of mirror world, which sounds crazy. Sounds like a science fiction movie to me, but I thought that was an interesting superstition. I don't know if it's weird, but it's something that's still out there in some funerals, which I thought was cool. I played sports also, so I had a lot of guys wearing stinky stuff. There was always like a superstition of like, if you do this or that, wear the right socks or wear the same jock strap or eat at a certain time, eat mostaccioli at an exact moment, an hour before the game that you would be running. And, there was all kinds of weird superstitions in that way. Other than that, I don't know anybody that has any super strange ones. Let me look at the chat, see if anybody's throwing anything in there, because I've heard some crazy ones. I don't see any, so I guess I'm on my own on this one. I would just say that I did have a friend that it's hard to tell what's superstition and what's OCD sometimes. I had a friend that had to like touch his car handle a certain amount of times before he got in it because he thought he was going to die in a car crash if he didn't. And I'm pretty sure that was just straight up OCD, not superstition. So if you catch yourself, if you're out there and you're feeling extremely superstitious, you're doing a lot of weird stuff, or stuff that seems over the top, hey, go to the doctor. You might have OCD. You might not be superstitious at all. That's your public service announcement brought to you by OCD.com. OCD, still doing it too often, over and over. OCD. I believe I have a phone call. You know what? Let's end on a phone call. Somebody got in. Do I have two or one? Just one. Let's see. I could regret this, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I feel like I'm in a hang up on somebody mood too. All right, you're live with the number 2 show. You're talking to Rafe Williams. Who am I talking to and what can I do for you? Check, check, 1, 2. Hello. We're going to give it one more second. Hello. Who are you? Nobody there? No volume? I guess they lost their nerve. Whoever's on there, guess what? You can't hang up on me. I'm hanging up on you. I knew I shouldn't have taken this fucking call. Dropping you. Almost accidentally banned the caller. That would have been very embarrassing. I didn't, though. Oh, we got another one. Here we go. Hi, you're live with the number 2 show. How can I help you? And you better be on there this time. All right. I'm starting to think it's us. Something going on with our phone system here. I got everything's turned up. Check, check, 1, 2. Can anybody hear me? No bueno? Well, guess what? Ha ha. You can't call me today. So don't call 818-532-1420 because I can't hear you. How embarrassing. That's what happens when you do a live show. But guess what? When we stop going live, I'm going to pull this down. And I'm going to erase this whole segment. No one will ever know that our equipment didn't work except for you guys. So I feel bad for that. Roger McDonald says, I was talking. I don't know why it didn't come through. Roger, I apologize, buddy. Call back another time. I think it's us. Oh, here, I got another one. Let's see. Let's just keep beating our heads against the wall. Nope. Dropping it. You're out. Call in. Host room live. Daddy's trying to run the board. Let's see what we get. Hello? All right, to hell with it. It's time to end the show. Let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about. Childhood misconceptions. Hi, Rafe. When I was a kid, I thought the moon followed our car everywhere we went. What's a funny or strange thing you believed as a child that you later realized was completely wrong? I bet you have some good ones. Whew, good question. Something I believed when I was a kid that I had completely wrong. I remember, here's one thing that really pissed me off when I was a kid. And I bet if you're a guy or maybe girl too, you can relate to this. When I was in first grade, I told my mom that I fully intended to fall in love and marry Daphne from Scooby-Doo. Even as a child, that little purple dress with her little ascot or scarf or whatever, running around solving crimes, just being hot in the van. I knew I wanted a van girl. I knew that I was destined to marry a woman who lived in a van. I knew that. I told my mom I want to marry Daphne from Scooby-Doo, and she promptly explained to me that it was impossible to marry a cartoon because cartoons weren't real people. Now, as a child, I did not understand this. I just assumed cartoon, your suspension of belief as a child is wild, And I was like, well, my backup plan was Penny from Inspector Gadget, so now I'm double fucked, right? She was going to be like my side girl if Daphne was acting up. And now I find out I can't marry Penny or Daphne because they're not real. And I remember getting super pissed at my mom, storming off, locking myself in my room. Like I needed a day or two to get over it. And I wonder sometimes, I look back on it now and I'm like, oh, it wasn't a big deal. But I'm like, at that moment, at 6 years old or whatever, it was pretty traumatic to find out that certain parts of your life that you accept as factual reality are in fact not at all. And then if that was the first domino to fall, then I don't want to spoiler alert, you find out about the Muppets. That's a problem. Because those seemed even more real and tangible because they weren't cartoons. They were interacting with real people on the screen. And I'm like, well, at least I know Kermit's real. He'll be there for me. I know Fozzie's got some fun jokes. Wrong. Also fake. And I guess it's a victimless crime. But I will say that is something that was a really hard pill to swallow. As those dominoes fall as a child and you start to figure out, that's how you're getting older. You're starting to get let in on some of the secrets, that adults keep from you. Whether it be, spoiler alert, Santa Claus or Easter Bunny or Tooth Fairy or whatever, those dominoes start to fall at different times for different people. It's usually some asshole kid at school that tells you, like, it's not real, right? And I'm like, whatever. Suck it, Donnie. That's not true. And you have to go home and ask your parents, and you find out. So I think it's tough. As far as the moon following you everywhere, it's an interesting thing to think. I don't think I had any misconceptions about the moon or the night sky or anything like that. I thought superpowers were real too. I thought like maybe I would be able to fly or something. Like I thought maybe I would win like a lottery and be special. Because I grew up in the peak of the 80s and 90s with Star Wars and Superman and all sorts of stuff on TV. I think when you're a kid, your kid brain thinks, hey, maybe I'll tie a towel to the back of my shirt with some safety pins and I'll run off the top of the garage and I'll let nature do the rest. And I tried it, and I'll be honest, it fucking hurt. I hit the ground pretty hard. But I had confidence, and I think sometimes you got to, hold on to that a little bit into adulthood. That's my takeaway of childhood misconceptions. Maybe believe a little bit in the magic. I may meet a Daphne yet. The girl I'm dating now seems like she could have grown up in a van, and I love her. You may not get exactly what you want. Maybe the moon does follow you around. You ever think of that? Maybe. In some ways, the moon is following us all around because it revolves around Earth, and we live on Earth. I may not follow you specifically from house to house and time to time, but God damn it, maybe the moon is looking. Maybe the moon's got one eye. The man in the moon has one eye on you, and you are just as special as you think you are. Because I do believe in the universe, and I do believe that if you're a good person, I think there's always good things working in the universe. If you put positive out, you get positive back. Put negative out, you might get negative back. So if you believe in the moon, maybe the moon will believe in you. And I think that's going to be the takeaway from this show. So let's take a quick break from a word from our sponsor, moon.com. It's following you at moon.com. And then we'll wrap this thing up. All right, we're back, and that's the end of the number 2 show for today for July 9th, 2224. We did it. Sorry about the snafu with the phone lines. That's pretty embarrassing on my end that I couldn't get the phone lines to work. 3 or 4 people tried to call in. We had to make do. That is the reality of doing a live show from a toilet stall. Believe it or not everything goes great all the time. Big thanks to our sponsors, Greenpeace/beaverpenis.com. I forgot the first one. I believe moon.com was the second one. Can't remember who my first sponsor was. I'll go back, play back the track, and we'll look at it. We had some fun today. Riz joined us. We talked about the housing market. Didn't see that happening today. And the new movie Gladiator 2, which we found out that was the other sponsor, Gladiator 2, brought to you by gladiator2.com. It ain't Russell, but it still looks pretty good. Feel free to send me emails. Go to the Point app. Use the drop-down box. You can leave me messages all through the week, and I will get to them here on the number 2 show. And we'll be back next week. Same shit time, same shit channel. Between now and then, try to enjoy your summer, and always wipe front to back. Bye.